Hello, we are Muzami Putra and Shafiq Sazali, and this is our presentation about our research-based article. And our theme of choice is code switching in voice assistant technology. So let's start the introduction by briefly explaining the articles of our choice. So the first article is entitled "It's Kind of Like Code Switching" by Harrington et al. In 2022, and the second article is entitled "CodeFed." Federated Speech Recognition by Madan et al. In also 2022. So in summary, both articles highlight the issue of voice assistant's ability to recognize code switching speech behavior by non-native English speakers. Due to multiple factors like colonization and globalization, most English speakers today are not native. So, as a non-native English speakers, we tend to code switch, where we alternate between English and our native languages in a conversation. So, in order to accommodate non-native English speakers, these authors believe that it is reasonable for a useful technology like voice assistant to be able to recognize code switching speech behavior. So, Harrington et al. Are investigating the efficiency of voice assistant technology in understanding code switching speech behavior among African American communities. They proved that voice assistant technology is unable to recognize these historically excluded group that also speaks African languages and African American Vernacular English, or AAVE. They believe that voice assistance technology is important as the elders of this community want to use this type of technology to get information regarding their chronic diseases. Meanwhile, Madan et al. Are trying to come up with a learning model called CodeFed that is able to help voice assistants to recognize code switching speech behavior by Indian English speakers. So they believe that the problem is important to be solved in India because there are many Indian languages such as Gujarati, Tamil, and Telugu, which means the code switching behavior is harder to be recognized in India. So, in other words, Harrington et al. Gives the problem statement and Madan et al. Provides the solution. And with that, let's talk about the methodologies of both studies. Harrington et al. Practice a three-phase qualitative approach with 30 participants where all of them must be between 50 to 89 years old. African American, reside in a lower income neighborhood, and literate. Phase 1 starts by giving the participants a diary where they need to record the question that they have regarding their health for 5 days. And phase 2 is a group or individual semi-structured interviews where the participants will be asked about their perceptions and attitudes towards voice assistant technology in helping them with getting information regarding their health. They also ask about how they would use voice assistant technology. And then phase 3, which is feasible and co-design study, where the participants are introduced individually to a voice assistant technology, which in this case is Google Home. They are guided on how to use it, and then they are free to use it to get their health related information. And then their speech behavior and method are recorded. Meanwhile, Madan et al. Is using a combination of qualitative and quantitative. Their main goal is to produce CodeFed, which is a learning model that is able to record and recognize code switching speech behavior without jeopardizing the user's privacy. So anyway, the CodeFed model can be integrated into other technologies such as artificial intelligence and of course voice assistant. So firstly, they get the code switch audio dataset from first workshop on speech technologies for code switching in multilingual communities. So every audio sample is then framed by 200 millisecond bits, and then every bit will be analyzed and the transcriptions will be made. So softwares and baselines models will be used layer by layer so that CodeFed could learn the code switching speech behavior from the transcriptions. Then lastly, the CodeFed model will be tested by two clients and a global model to properly evaluate its effectiveness in recognizing code switched speech. Now we are reaching the findings of their studies. Harrington et al. Discovers that based on the targeted communities' diaries and interviews, the participants shows a great interest in learning and getting information related to their chronic illness and condition. However, during the feasibility test, the participants reported that the voice assistant Google Home is unable to understand their speech, mainly because of the code switching speech behavior, among other factors such as the diction and accent. So the participants also reported that in order to make Google Home understand their questions is by taking a moment, sit down and write down their questions before asking Google Home, which quite defeats the purpose of a voice assistant technology. So Harrington et al. Have properly proved that voice assistants are unable to recognize code switching speech behavior, and it is not beneficial for this historically excluded group in seeking health related information. So meanwhile, Madan et al. Discovered that the developed model performs 88% of accuracy in training as reported by many softwares. And then during the evaluation sessions by two clients and a global model, CodeFed is able to recognize code switching speech behavior with the accuracy of 70 to 77.7%, which is still the best learning model compared to other related works. So, and not only that, CodeFed is able to recognize English, Gujarati, Tamil, and Telugu languages in a code switching speech behavior, but it could also recognize silence as one of the speech behaviors. So, in comparison, Harrington et al. Discovered that the targeted participants are having difficulty in using voice assistants because of their code switching behavior, while Madan et al. Identified this problem in the target community and developed a learning model to be integrated into voice assistant technology. So, as established before, Harrington's study is all about addressing the problem statement, while Madan's study is all about coming up with a solution of the problem. So, in other words, while these problems are very different, they are somewhat complementary.